Yeah, guys, I wanted to use this video to give a shout out, some praise, some love for this book that I love so much. It's called the Motivation Manifesto by Brendon Burchard, and I sing the praises of this book all the time to almost anyone I talk to. I truly believe this book is a message for our time, um, about our modern world and the lives that we live, and the mess. Honestly, there's good and bad in the world, right? But largely it's a mess, right? And we've forgotten what we're here for, how to live life. Do you want to go downtown? Sorry, check that message there. Yes. Oh, this is my friend just texted me there. And I'm putting it on my channel about the evolution of love because there's a little section here. If you haven't read the book and know about it, it starts off with the declaration of personal power, and there are 9 declarations that really declare to yourself, but also to the world, about who you are and what you're here for. And one of those declarations is that we shall amplify love, right? This divine energy, which I was right on board with when I read it, but it also reinforced a lot of my views about love, and it inspired me to really get this book, my book, The Evolution of Love, out there and start sharing my ideas and thoughts and experiences with relationships and so forth. So I'm just going to read this. I mean, there's a whole chapter about this concept of amplifying love. It's part of our mission. But I'm just going to read from the first section, again, the Declaration of Personal Power. It just encapsulates those concepts into a couple paragraphs. I'll share it and then I'll comment about it, because as much as I love it, I'm not 100% sold on all these ideas, but hey, you figure it out for yourself. Okay, so he says that we are not transmitting or receiving love as we were divinely intended to. I'm going to skip that next line, but I'll say this. We fell for the prevailing hysteria that said, protect your heart. And I'm going to interject here. Yeah, I love that line. Yes, it's my whole point of writing my book. What are we protecting ourselves from? From what? Love people. I mean, don't be afraid of getting hurt. Yeah, thanks. And yet it is a prevailing hysteria as be careful who you love. And I just want to tear that whole concept, the whole mindset down, and do so with logic and science, philosophy. That love is nothing to fear, and it is this fear that we often have as we go through life that prevents us from living and loving. And looking at it that way, it's crazy. It's a crazy world. So I continue. We fell for the hysteria that said protect your heart, and we began to believe that love itself had enemies and needed protecting. When we were hurt, we felt that love was somehow diminished or damaged. That's a big statement. You know, I don't know. It's an interesting line. I'd like to talk to him about that. But hurt has nothing to do with love, and love is unaffiliated with and unaffected by pain. That's what it should be. Ego was hurt, not love. Love is divine. It is everywhere, ever present and abundant and free. I love this. It is a spiritual energy that is at this very moment flowing through the universe, through us, through our enemies, through our families, through billions of souls, throughout time, throughout space-time. That's what it is. That's my line there. It was never absent from our lives. It is not bound in our hearts or in our relationships, and thus it is not capable of being owned or lost in the same way you cannot possess someone else. And that's one of my concepts. And I think people hear that and think, yeah, they agree, but the way that we talk about love and relationships doesn't jive with that concept. You cannot possess another person, nor should you ever try. It's not love. Anyway, we've allowed our awareness of love to diminish, that is all. In doing so, we have caused our own suffering. We must mature and realize that freeing our mind of ancient hurts and opening once more to love shall give us access to divine strength. That is awesome. beautiful and perfect, and yes, he's correct. I'll say it again. We must mature and realize that freeing our mind of ancient hurts and opening fearlessly to love shall give us access to divine strength, to stand emotionally before the world and give of our hearts without fear or demand of reciprocity. That's why I wanted to make my book for free. This is the ultimate act of human courage. For this we now declare, we shall amplify love. So again, I hope that you guys will check this book out, or just check his videos out on YouTube. Brendon is awesome. Brilliant, educated, well-read, thoughtful, articulate, and most importantly, loving. This guy gets it, that life gets a charge by giving, through service, helping other people. That's what we're here for. And again, whatever accomplishments I go on to do in my life, I owe a ton to Brendon, because there was a point a couple years ago in my life where things were dark. Health issues with the family. My niece had brain cancer. My dad, I felt, had cancer that he wasn't getting addressed. There was just the stress of the political season. I was all in for Bernie Sanders, and seeing, I don't want to go on, but if you know me, you know how I feel about Bernie. He's another awesome human being, and seeing all the shenanigans, the media blackout on Bernie's campaign, and seeing that the establishment is cheating us out of this potentially great president at a time that we need it. Anyway, on it goes. Friend in jail, friends dealing with stuff. I felt just by myself. A lot of my friends had not. Anyway, it's a dark time in my life, and I'll say this: I would never commit suicide, but it was so dark that I as a non-believer, I spoke to the universe and God and said, and seeing all the news of the day, another unarmed black kid killed by the police in less than 2 seconds, and they got off scot-free. I was fed up, and I was ready to just cash in. God, you can take me to make this all better, some kind of improvement, and I meant it. And within that 24-hour span, I mean, it was dark, guys. I didn't want to get out of bed, and I was drinking heavily. But then I came across, well, actually, recently I've been introduced to this book by a coworker, and got on YouTube and started looking at his videos, and came across Martin Luther King's mountaintop speech the day before he died, and little things like that pulled me out. And I said, well, Doug, if you're willing to die, that's not the way of the warrior. If you're willing to die, then you're willing to fight like hell. And I wanted to be Martin Luther King. I saw the fire, the passion, and honestly, the life in his eyes as he gave that speech. And if you're not familiar with the speech, he acknowledges that he's probably not going to live a long life, and he's cool with that. Check out that speech. Awesome. There's few heroes I have, and definitely Martin Luther King is one of them. Jesus, Abraham Lincoln, Frederick Douglass, Bob Dylan. But I mean, even Bob is great as he is. I mean, it's tough to put him up there with those other fearless leaders. And that's it. That's when I started my YouTube. Started speaking out. I knew that my ideas were revolutionary and going to make a lot of enemies. And I was always afraid to put it out there, because I know how the world works. You can't talk about love and peace and progress without this world killing you. Look at JFK, RFK, again, Martin Luther King, on and on it goes. Jesus, and I didn't want that, but you know what? That's what life does, guys. God is going to bring you to the edge, the precipice, and make you face your mortality. And then once you're cool with that, now you are free to go. I don't fear anything. It's like Martin Luther King said, I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man, because he's right with God, the universe, if you like. You know, you could be a good person and be atheist. I mean, I'm cool with everything. God loves you regardless. You're safe regardless of what your beliefs are. We're all on that journey. But I think if you want to be a truly great human being, like Martin Luther King or Jesus, then you've got to have faith in God, in the universe, and everything. So that's it, guys. Yeah, don't bother wasting your money on the book. I'll be honest. I kind of rushed the book because this was right before the elections. I wanted to get a name for myself, thinking that my controversial views on marriage and love and so forth would at least someone would want to talk about it, so I could say, hey, we're not going to be okay with Trump. We're not going to be okay with Clinton. Hey, we're getting cheated out of not just a great president, but we don't have a democracy. And so I rushed it, and I did most of the editing myself, and it's frustrating. It's tedious to go back and read your own work. So it's got typos, and I repeat myself here and there. The concepts are solid, though. So in lieu of getting the book, I'll try and share these concepts on YouTube. And I know it's going to help a lot of people, because I've helped lots of friends get through breakups and so forth, and it's gotten me to a place in my life where, again, I'm not afraid to fall madly in love or express my love for someone, and I'm not afraid of heartbreak or all the nonsense that we put ourselves through, unrealistic expectations of things. I want to help create just fearless lovers of not just your partner, but your family and the world around you. Yeah, so I guess that's it for today. Happy New Year. Wish you well. Share the video, what have you. Like, subscribe if you like. Whatever. See ya. Bye.